The world was already buzzing with speculation, but when CanYaman finally decided to break his silence, everything changed. For years, the fans had been left in the dark, piecing together whispers, half-truths, and paparazzi photos that seemed to speak louder than words. And yet, nothing could prepare them for what he was about to confess. Sitting in a dimly lit room, his face carrying the weight of years of silence, Can's voice trembled as he admitted what no one expected. He didn't start with anger, nor with blame, but with something far more powerful: regret. He revealed that every sleepless night, every glance at the headlines, every rumor linking him to someone else, had carried a silent shadow, the secrets he had buried. "I thought I could move forward," he whispered, his eyes filled with a rare vulnerability, "but the past never truly let me go." Fans who had idolized him as the strong, untouchable heartthrob suddenly saw a man broken by choices, haunted by memories. The confession struck deep. Can admitted he had left things unsaid, calls unanswered, and moments that could have changed everything, moments tied to Demet Özdemir, the woman who had always been at the center of his storm. The tension in the air was palpable. Social media erupted within minutes, hashtags trending worldwide, #CanSpeaks, #DemetAndCan, #TheTruthRevealed. It wasn't just about a celebrity breaking his silence, it was about a love story that had gripped millions finally coming to a boiling point. For years, fans had believed in the undeniable chemistry between Can and Demet, both on and off screen. Every smile, every shared look, every behind-the-scenes clip had been dissected, fueling the belief that their connection was real. And now, with Can admitting he had held back secrets all along, the world felt both vindicated and shattered. His words didn't just expose his feelings, they exposed the fragile line between fame and humanity. He spoke of nights in Rome where he felt surrounded yet alone, of endless interviews where he smiled but inside carried a truth too heavy to share, of moments in front of the cameras where his heart wanted to scream Demet's name, but his lips stayed shut. This was not the polished actor giving a rehearsed answer, this was the man behind the global star, confessing that silence had been his greatest prison. For Demet, hearing these words must have been both healing and devastating. Though she hadn't spoken yet, fans couldn't stop imagining her reaction. Was she in tears? Was she angry that he only spoke now, after years had passed? Or did she feel relief that the burden of silence was finally gone? Can's eyes, filled with both guilt and longing, suggested that he didn't expect forgiveness, only understanding. And perhaps, deep down, he still hoped for a second chance. The silence was broken, but the storm was only beginning. As CanYaman's words spread like wildfire, the media scrambled to catch up. Talk shows replayed his trembling voice on loop, gossip magazines rushed to print special editions, and fans around the globe sat glued to their screens, dissecting every pause, every sigh, every flicker of pain on his face. It wasn't just a confession, it was a cultural moment. The man who had been worshipped as an untouchable icon of masculinity and romance had finally shown cracks in his armor, and those cracks revealed something raw and heartbreaking. Can admitted that fame had become both his greatest gift and his heaviest curse. The more his star rose, the harder it became to speak the truth. "I thought silence would protect me," he confessed, "but in the end, silence destroyed me." He spoke of times when he wanted to call Demet late at night, to hear her voice, to tell her everything he couldn't tell the world. But fear held him back. Fear of rejection, fear of headlines, fear of destroying the career they had built side by side. Each unreturned call, each message left unsent, became another stone in the wall between them. The detail that shook fans the most was when he admitted that there was one specific night, one phone call, that could have changed everything. He never revealed what he would have said, but the way his eyes darkened told the world that it was something profound. Maybe an apology. Maybe a declaration of love. Maybe both. "That call," he whispered, "haunts me every single day." The revelation sent fans into a frenzy. What if that moment had been the turning point, the night that would have united them forever? What if his silence cost him the love of his life? Meanwhile, speculation about Demet's side of the story grew louder. Paparazzi spotted her leaving her apartment with red eyes, sparking rumors that she had been crying after hearing Can's confession. Close friends remained silent, but anonymous sources suggested that she had always waited for this moment, that deep down, she wanted the truth to come out, no matter how painful. Fans flooded her social media with messages of support. "We are with you, Demet. Your love was real. Please forgive him." The digital world became a battlefield of emotions, with some blaming Ken for his years of silence, while others praised his courage for finally speaking out. In Italy, where Ken had become a sensation, the headlines were explosive: CanYaman's bombshell confession. In Turkey, newspapers ran with phrases like "the love story that never died." And in every corner of the globe, from Brazil to Spain to the United States, fans shared one common reaction: shock. For years, the public had speculated, but to hear it from his own lips, that was something entirely different. Can's confession was not just about love, it was about vulnerability in the face of global fame. He admitted that behind every red carpet smile and every shirtless magazine cover was a man still searching for peace, still longing for the one person who had understood him beyond the spotlight. "She saw me," he said softly. "Not the actor. Not the star. She saw me. And I let that go." Those words left millions speechless, because in them was a truth that no fame, no career, no new romance could ever erase. The reaction was overwhelming. Within hours, CanYaman's confession dominated global trends. News anchors spoke about it with the same intensity they reserved for political scandals, while fans created emotional edits, compiling clips of Can and Demet's most unforgettable on-screen moments with his raw words playing in the background. The internet became a sea of broken hearts, fire emojis, and desperate pleas for reconciliation. But while the fans celebrated his honesty, others couldn't ignore the scars left behind by years of silence. Can didn't stop at admitting his regrets. He also spoke about the price of fame, the suffocating spotlight that followed him everywhere, the endless speculation about his love life, and the constant pressure to be the perfect man fans imagined him to be. "I became a character even in my real life," he admitted, his tone heavy with exhaustion. "And the more I played that role, the more I lost myself." It was a confession that humanized him, stripping away the glossy magazine covers and showing the loneliness behind the fame. But it was when he mentioned Demet directly that the world seemed to stop. "I know I hurt her," he said, his voice shaking. "Not with words, but with silence. And silence can be louder than anything else." He revealed that there were moments when he wanted to reach out but convinced himself it was too late, that she had already moved on, that perhaps she had even stopped caring. Yet his eyes betrayed him, they carried the unmistakable look of a man still in love, still haunted by the one who got away. Rumors began swirling about Demet's private reaction. A close acquaintance claimed she was torn between relief and heartbreak, relief that the truth was finally out, heartbreak that it had taken so long. Fans began resharing old interviews of hers, analyzing her smiles and pauses, interpreting them as signs that she had always held on to unspoken feelings for Can. It became clear that his confession wasn't just about the past, it reignited hope for something the world had almost given up on. Meanwhile, Sarah Bluma's name began trending as well. The woman who had often been linked to Can in recent years suddenly found herself under the microscope. Paparazzi cameras chased her through the streets of Rome, desperate to capture her reaction to Can's shocking words. Was she angry? Was she hurt? Did she know all along that Can's heart had never truly let go of Demet? Though Sarah remained silent, the tabloids painted her as the unintended victim of a love story that refused to die. Some fans turned against her, while others defended her, pointing out that she, too, deserved honesty. The confession also stirred Can's family into the spotlight. His mother, Guldum, who had always been protective of her son, was reportedly emotional upon hearing his words. Some insiders even claimed she had long encouraged him to open up, to stop hiding behind fame and speak the truth. "She always knew," one family friend suggested. "A mother can see what her child cannot admit." This only added another layer of drama to the unfolding saga. Was this confession not just for the world, but also for his family, who had carried the weight of his silence with him? Through it all, Can seemed almost relieved, as if a burden had finally been lifted. But his relief didn't erase the consequences. The question now was not just what he revealed, but what comes next. Would Demet respond? Would Sarah finally break her silence? Would the world forgive him for waiting so long? For now, one thing was certain: his confession had reopened a chapter that everyone thought was closed, and the story was far from over. The world waited with bated breath. After CanYaman's shocking confession, there was only one thing left unresolved: Demet Özdemir's response. Every camera lens in Istanbul, every tabloid headline in Rome, every fan page across the globe focused on her next move. Would she speak? Would she forgive? Or would she remain as silent as he had been for so many years? Paparazzi reported that Demet had been seen walking along the Bosphorus, her expression thoughtful, her phone clutched tightly in her hand. Speculation exploded. Had Can finally called her? Was she reading a message that had been unsent for years? The public clung to every blurry photograph, every whispered rumor, desperate to know if this long-buried love story still had a chance. Insiders close to Demet revealed that she had been deeply affected by his words. It wasn't just a confession, one said softly. It was a plea. And she knows it. Fans remembered the way her eyes had always softened whenever Can's name was mentioned, even long after their supposed ending. Now, faced with his raw honesty, she could no longer hide from the emotions she herself had buried. Meanwhile, Sarah Bluma remained silent, but the silence around her spoke volumes. She had built a life in Italy, hand in hand with Can, yet the entire world now questioned the foundation of that bond. Could a woman ever compete with a love story that had become legendary, immortalized on screens and in the hearts of millions? Some sympathized with her pain, others saw her as an obstacle to a destiny that seemed written in the stars. Can himself did not appear in public after the confession. Perhaps he was waiting, perhaps he was afraid. His words had been brave, but they had also left him vulnerable. For the first time in years, the man who had been idolized as invincible now stood exposed, his heart in the hands of a woman he once lost. The truth can hurt, he had admitted. But lies hurt more. And silence destroys. That line was replayed endlessly, carved into the memory of fans who understood that even idols are human, even stars can break. Then came the most surprising twist. A Turkish entertainment program claimed to have sources saying Demet had whispered to a close friend, "I always waited for this. I just never knew if it would come." Those words, if true, carried the weight of years of longing, pain, and unspoken love. They suggested that the story wasn't finished, not by a long shot. As the credits of this chapter began to roll, the world found itself holding on to a single hope: that love, even when buried under pride, silence, and distance, could still find its way back. Fans imagined the reunion, the first call returned, the first tearful meeting after years apart. They imagined Istanbul's skyline glowing, not with fire and smoke, but with forgiveness and second chances. For now, no official reunion has taken place. No photographs of a secret dinner, no video of an emotional embrace. And yet, the air feels charged, as if the story is still unfolding. The silence is gone, the secrets have been revealed, and what remains is the question that has kept millions awake at night: will Can and Demet find their way back to each other, or has too much time passed? One thing is certain: this confession will go down in history, not just as a celebrity headline, but as the moment when CanYaman stopped being an untouchable star and became something far more powerful, a man who dared to tell the truth, no matter how late, no matter how painful.